You wake up in the middle of the night, your legs feeling heavy, as if they were made of stone. You try to push yourself up from the bed, but your arms tremble. And for a terrifying moment, you realize you might not have the strength to stand. For many seniors, this frightening scenario becomes all too real, not because of a sudden accident or a disease they could see coming, but because of something as simple as what they didn't eat at dinner. Imagine that a quiet dinner table, a light soup or a slice of bread, and unknowingly the very habit that sets your body on a course toward muscle, decline, and frailty. As a neurologist specializing in the health of adults over 60, I've seen countless patients who believed they were making healthy choices by skipping protein at dinner. They thought eating light at night would help digestion, improve sleep, or even keep their weight in check. But the truth is stark. When your body ages, it doesn't store and use protein as effectively as it once did. If you don't give it what it needs in the evening, it will take it from the only available source, your own muscles. This silent breakdown accelerates what doctors call sarcopenia, or age-related muscle loss. And it doesn't just sap your strength. It makes you vulnerable to falls fractures, hospitalizations, and a loss of independence. I recall one patient, Mrs. Eleanor, age 72, who came to me after she fell while reaching for a book on a high shelf. Her x-rays showed brittle bones, but what struck me most was how weak her muscles had become. She confessed she rarely ate more than tea and toast at dinner, convinced it was the light and healthy choice. What she didn't realize was that night after night, her muscles were slowly being consumed to keep her body going. She wasn't sick from a disease or a genetic condition. She was starving her muscles in silence. This is the hidden truth. Many seniors are never told. Your muscles don't just weaken during the day. They break down the most while you sleep. Sleep is when your body repairs itself, when growth hormone rises, and when your cells renew. But without the building blocks from protein, the repair process cannot happen. Instead of recovery, your body slides deeper into decline. And the damage is subtle, so subtle, that by the time you notice your pants feel looser in the thighs or climbing stairs leaves you breathless. The process has already been underway for years. Before we dive in, if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you hit that button and turn on the bell so you never miss another health tip made just for you. If you enjoy this video, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0 to let me know how I can make better content for you. Now I know you may be asking yourself if something as simple as skipping protein at dinner can cause this much harm. What other habits or foods are silently destroying your strength tonight? I'm going to walk you through exactly why protein timing matters more than you think, and how missing it at dinner accelerates muscle decline after 60. But more importantly, I'll show you practical, senior-friendly solutions to protect your body and keep your independence for years to come. Because here's the real danger. Sarcopenia doesn't just rob you of strength. It robs you of confidence, freedom, and dignity. Every step becomes harder. Every errand feels heavier, and before long, simple daily tasks, like carrying groceries or rising from a chair, turn into struggles. But it doesn't have to be this way. And it all begins with understanding the critical role of protein at dinner. So let's begin by uncovering why your body's changing metabolism makes protein at night not just helpful, but essential. Why do seniors need protein at night more than any other age group? The answer lies in the simple truth that the aging body doesn't process nutrients the way it used to. When you were younger, you could eat a steak for lunch, skip dinner, and still bounce back with energy the next day. But after 60, your body's machinery changes dramatically. The enzymes responsible for breaking down protein into amino acids slow down, and your muscles become resistant to the signals that once told them, grow stronger. This phenomenon is called anabolic resistance, a condition where your body requires more protein more frequently to maintain the same muscle mass you had in earlier decades. Think about it. Like this, your muscles are like a house. Every day, tiny storms wear and tear, oxidative stress, minor inflammation chip away at the structure. Protein is the construction crew that comes in to repair the damage. But with age, that construction crew gets slower, smaller, and less efficient. If you skip dinner protein, you're essentially sending the crew home right before the biggest repair shift of the day's nighttime when your body should be healing. Instead of strengthening the foundation, your muscles deteriorate while you sleep, leaving your house weaker each morning. I once treated a patient named Mr. Raymond, a 68-year-old retired carpenter. He had always been strong and proud of his physical abilities, but over a few short years, he noticed a steep decline. Climbing stairs left him breathless. His grip weakened, and his once active lifestyle dwindled into long afternoons on the couch. When I reviewed his diet, I found a pattern: a hearty breakfast and lunch, but dinners consisting of tea crackers or sometimes just a bowl of oatmeal. He thought he was being kind to his stomach, but his body was screaming for the very protein he was withholding. Blood tests revealed low levels of essential amino acids, particularly leucine, the amino acid most critical for triggering muscle growth. His case was a textbook example of anabolic resistance compounded by poor meal timing. Now, here's the medical fact that many seniors never hear: your body cannot bank protein from breakfast and use it effectively 12 hours later. Unlike fat, which can be stored for energy, amino acids from protein must be continuously supplied. Studies show that when seniors spread protein intake evenly across 3 meals, their muscles respond better compared to loading it all in one sitting. And dinner in particular is crucial because it fuels overnight recovery. But there's another layer to this story, one that often goes unnoticed. Proteins are not all created equal. Muscle repair relies heavily on branched-chain amino acids, BCAAs, like leucine, isoleucine, and valine. While animal proteins, such as chicken, fish, eggs, and dairy, provide these in abundance, plant-based proteins often lack enough leucine to stimulate repair on their own. Seniors who prefer lighter dinners of vegetables, rice, or fruit often miss this critical nutrient without realizing it. Their intentions may be good, but the result is a steady erosion of muscle tissue. Mr. Raymond's transformation became a powerful lesson. When we adjusted his diet to include a modest portion of protein at dinner, grilled salmon, Greek yogurt, or a small omelet, he regained energy within weeks. 6 months later, he was climbing stairs again with confidence and even returned to his weekend woodworking projects. His story shows that it's not about eating huge portions, but about consistency, providing your body with the tools it needs every single night. So I ask you, have you been skipping protein at dinner thinking it doesn't matter? Have you fallen into the habit of treating dinner as a light snack rather than an essential fuel for your aging muscles? If you recognize yourself in this, you're not alone. Millions of seniors around the world unknowingly do the same, and the consequences only become clear when strength fades, balance wavers, and independence slips away. And if you thought skipping protein was risky, wait until you hear what actually happens to your muscles while you sleep without it. That's where the hidden danger truly reveals itself. Nighttime is when your body is supposed to be at its most restorative state. The day's activities, walking, lifting, even simply maintaining posture, cause countless micro-tears in your muscle fibers. Under normal circumstances, your body would use amino acids to patch up these tears, making your muscles stronger by morning. But what happens when those amino acids aren't there because you skipped protein at dinner? Your body doesn't stop repairing, it simply finds another source. And tragically, that source becomes your own muscle tissue. This process is called muscle catabolism, and it is one of the most destructive forces working against seniors who unknowingly deprive themselves of protein at night. When you're asleep, your body cycles through different stages. In deep sleep, growth hormone surges, signaling the body to repair damaged cells and tissues. Think of growth hormone as the construction manager, but even the best manager is useless without materials. Without dietary protein in your system, your body turns to the next available reservoir, your skeletal muscles. It breaks down your muscle fibers into amino acids to keep your brain, heart, and vital organs functioning through the night. This is not a sign of illness. It is survival biology. But for seniors, this nightly breakdown adds up quickly, leaving less and less muscle mass over time. Consider Mrs. Helen, a 74-year-old retired teacher I treated not long ago. She lived alone and admitted she often skipped dinner entirely believing it would help her sleep better and control her weight. At first, the only sign of trouble was difficulty rising from low chairs. Over the months, her condition worsened. She lost her balance more easily, and carrying groceries became exhausting. By the time she came to me, she had lost nearly 15% of her lean muscle mass. A body scan revealed her muscles had been cannibalized night after night, leaving her frail and at risk of dangerous falls. The heartbreaking part, she thought she was being healthy by eating light at night. Now here's the scientific fact. Research shows that overnight fasting without protein leads to a negative nitrogen balance, a state where the body is breaking down more protein than it's building. For younger adults, a night or two without protein barely registers. But for seniors, even one skipped meal tips the balance toward muscle decline. Over weeks and months, this becomes a steady downhill slope. You may notice your clothes fitting looser around the thighs, or tasks like standing on tiptoes suddenly feeling impossible. These are not just inconveniences. They are early warning signs of sarcopenia accelerating under the radar. Another often overlooked issue is that the liver and immune system also rely heavily on amino acids at night. Without adequate dietary protein, your body sacrifices skeletal muscle to keep these systems running. That means every night you go to bed protein deficient. Your immune resilience weakens and your muscles thin. It's a silent tax that seniors pay without realizing it. Mrs. Helen's turnaround came when we incorporated a simple but powerful change. A bedtime snack with slow digesting protein, such as Greek yogurt with a sprinkle of chia seeds. Within 3 months, her grip strength improved, and she no longer needed to push herself up with both hands to rise from a chair. Her confidence and independence began to return. It wasn't magic. It was simply giving her body the raw materials it needed at the very moment it needed them most, nighttime. So I ask you tonight, when you set your dinner table, will you give your muscles the protection they deserve, or will you let them be eaten away in silence? The choice may seem small, but the consequences stretch far into your future. And if you think this nighttime breakdown is bad, wait until you learn about the type of protein that could actually shield your muscles all night long. That's where the real hope lies. If skipping protein at dinner leaves your body vulnerable to muscle breakdown, then the obvious solution is to provide it with protein before sleep. But not just any protein will do. The type of protein you consume and how long it takes your body to digest it makes all the difference. This is where slow digesting proteins come into play, with casein being the most powerful ally for seniors aiming to protect their muscles overnight. Casein found abundantly in foods like cottage cheese, Greek yogurt, and milk. Has a unique property. It digests slowly, releasing amino acids into your bloodstream over several hours. Think of it like a steady drip of fuel into your body's engine. While fast-digesting proteins like whey are excellent after exercise, their effects fade quickly, leaving you without protection during the long fasting hours of sleep. Casein, however, keeps a slow trickle of amino acids flowing, guarding your muscles against catabolism through the night. This concept is especially important for older adults whose bodies already struggle with anabolic resistance. By the time you reach 60, your muscles are less responsive to protein signals. A quick burst of amino acids from fast proteins may not be enough to sustain muscle repair. Instead, you need a steady stream, almost like leaving a nightlight on. For your muscles, a constant gentle signal that says, "Don't break down. Stay strong." I remember a patient named George, a 70-year-old retired bus driver. He came to me after noticing his legs felt weak during his daily walks, and he had even stumbled on the curb a few times. His diet seemed balanced: eggs for breakfast, chicken or fish for lunch, and then a light bowl of cereal with skim milk at dinner. He thought the milk was giving him protein at night, But when I looked closer, I realized he was consuming a very small portion, and worse, it wasn't enough to sustain him through the night. We introduced a nightly ritual, a half cup of cottage cheese with berries before bed. The casein from the cottage cheese provided the slow-digesting protein his body desperately needed. Within 2 months, George reported feeling more stable on his walks. He could climb stairs without holding onto the rail, and even returned to gardening, something he had stopped because his legs tired too quickly. It wasn't just about rebuilding muscle. It was about restoring his independence and confidence. Here's the science behind his recovery. Studies show that consuming 20–40 grams of casein before bed significantly increases overnight muscle protein synthesis in older adults. That means your body is actively repairing and rebuilding instead of wasting away. Think about how powerful that is. A small bowl of yogurt or cottage cheese before bed could be the difference between losing muscle and maintaining it. But here's where many seniors make a mistake. They believe that any light evening snack counts as fuel. Crackers, fruit, or tea may feel comforting, but they provide almost no protection for your muscles. Worse, high-carb snacks can spike blood sugar, leading to inflammation that accelerates muscle breakdown. Only protein, specifically slow-digesting protein, can serve as the shield your muscles need overnight. George's story proves that small, consistent choices matter more than grand efforts. He didn't have to overhaul his diet or eat a steak before bed, just a mindful serving of casein-rich food. And the difference was life-changing. So I ask you, when was the last time your dinner truly protected your muscles through the night? If your answer is uncertain, then this is your wake-up call. Tonight could be the night you decide to stop the silent muscle erosion and start nourishing your body in the hours when it needs it most. And if you thought casein was the only concern, wait until you see how protein works hand in hand with your blood sugar levels. Because what you eat at dinner not only affects your muscles, but also determines whether your night becomes one of healing or silent harm. When people think about protein, they usually think about muscle strength, but protein at dinner has another hidden role, one that affects not just your muscles, but also your blood sugar levels. Many seniors don't realize that skipping protein at dinner can trigger nighttime blood sugar spikes and crashes. And these swings silently accelerate inflammation damage, blood vessels, and worsen muscle decline. Here's the biology. When you eat carbohydrates alone, like bread, rice, or fruit, your blood sugar rises quickly. For younger bodies, insulin quickly clears that sugar into cells. But after 60, insulin sensitivity drops, meaning sugar lingers in the blood, longer, causing oxidative stress and low-grade inflammation. Over time, this damages your muscles and makes it harder for them to repair. Without protein to slow digestion and balance the meal, the carbohydrate surge becomes more harmful. Protein acts like a buffer. It slows the release of sugar, keeps insulin levels steadier, and reduces the inflammatory storm that eats away at muscle tissue. I remember a patient, Mrs. Clara, a 69-year-old grandmother, who came to me complaining of restless sleep and morning fatigue. She believed her evening bowl of rice porridge was gentle on her stomach and the perfect light dinner. But her blood work told another story. Her fasting glucose levels were high, and she had early signs of prediabetes. What she didn't know was that the absence of protein at dinner was allowing her blood sugar to swing wildly through the night. Her muscles, already struggling with age-related decline, were under constant attack from inflammation. When we adjusted her dinner to include lean protein grilled fish or lentil stew, alongside her rice, her blood sugar steadied. Within 3 months, not only did her morning fatigue improve, but her muscle strength tests also showed progress. Clara's case is a powerful reminder that protein isn't just for bodybuilders. It's a critical stabilizer for seniors' entire metabolic system. Here's the scientific fact. Studies have shown that older adults who consume balanced dinners with adequate protein experience lower overnight glucose variability compared to those who eat carb-heavy or protein-deficient meals. Why does this matter? Because high glucose variability, the up and down roller coaster creates oxidative damage that accelerates muscle wasting and increases the risk of sarcopenia. In simple terms, if your blood sugar is out of control, your muscles pay the price. Another layer of this problem is inflammation. Every spike in blood sugar generates advanced glycation end products, ages sticky compounds that damage tissues and accelerate aging. Muscles are particularly vulnerable because they require healthy blood flow and nutrient delivery. Imagine trying to repair a house when the roads leading to it are filled with potholes and blockages. That's what inflammation does to your muscles. It blocks repair crews from arriving. Protein helps minimize this damage by slowing sugar absorption and keeping your bloodstream calmer, cleaner, and more supportive of repair.
Clara once told me, I thought sugar only mattered for diabetes, not for my muscles. Her words reflect a common misunderstanding. Seniors often separate blood sugar health from muscle health, but the two are deeply connected. If your blood sugar is unstable, your muscles will weaken, even if you're eating protein at other meals. Dinner is especially critical because it sets the stage for your body's entire night of recovery. And here's something even more alarming. Seniors who eat carb-heavy dinners without protein often wake up with more joint pain and stiffness. That's because the inflammatory storm caused by sugar doesn't just affect blood vessels. It attacks connective tissue, making mornings more painful. By contrast, adding protein calms that storm and allows your body to wake up more refreshed. So I'll ask you, when you think back to last night's dinner, was it balanced with protein, or was it a plate of carbs that left your body vulnerable? That one choice may be quietly shaping how strong, steady, and independent you will feel tomorrow. And if you thought blood sugar swings were the worst consequence of light dinners, the truth gets even harsher. Because what many seniors proudly call healthy light dinners are often nothing more than empty meals that starve muscles night after night. And that's where the real danger lies. For decades, seniors have been told that a light dinner is the key to good health. Doctors once advised avoiding heavy foods at night to prevent indigestion, while diet culture encouraged eating less in the evening to keep the weight off. As a result, many older adults proudly embrace the habit of sipping soup, nibbling on toast, or having nothing more than tea and fruit before bed. On the surface, it sounds harmless, even smart. But the reality is that these so-called light dinners are starving your muscles, leaving your body defenseless during the most critical hours of recovery. The problem lies in what these meals are missing: protein. Soups, crackers, porridge, or fruit bowls may feel comforting, but they are essentially empty of the amino acids your muscles desperately need at night. When you were 30 or 40, you could get away with this because your body stored protein more efficiently and bounced back quickly. But after 60, every skipped protein serving counts, and every light dinner accelerates sarcopenia, age-related muscle loss that robs you of strength, balance, and independence. Take the story of Mr. Daniel, a 75-year-old retired accountant. He had been following what he thought was a healthy evening routine: a bowl of vegetable soup and crackers. He chose it because it was easy on his stomach and seemed clean. But over 2 years, he noticed his legs growing weaker, and one afternoon he collapsed while climbing stairs. In the hospital, his scans revealed significant muscle wasting. His bones were intact, but his muscle mass had deteriorated to the point that even small exertions became dangerous. When I asked about his diet, the culprit was obvious: night after night of light dinners that provided little more than salt and starch. The medical truth is, these muscles are highly metabolically active tissues, and without protein, they begin to break down to fuel the rest of the body. Seniors who consistently consume protein-deficient meals at night face negative nitrogen balance, meaning they are losing more protein than they are building. Over time, this balance leads not only to weaker muscles, but also to slower wound healing, compromised immunity, and a higher risk of falls. Even more concerning is that many seniors think they're doing the right thing. At least I'm not eating junk food, they tell themselves. But the damage of an empty dinner is often worse than eating something indulgent. A slice of cake at least has some calories
to prevent the body from consuming muscle. But plain soup or fruit leaves your body no choice but to draw protein directly from your own tissues. That's the cruel irony of the light dinner myth. Here's a lesser-known fact: the digestive system of older adults often slows down, and this makes seniors feel full faster, leading them to underestimate their actual nutritional needs. But fullness is not the same as nourishment. You may feel satisfied after a small bowl of soup, but your muscles remain hungry. That false sense of security is what traps so many into the cycle of silent decline.
Mr. Daniel's recovery only began when we introduced protein into his evening meals. Instead of plain vegetable soup, he added lentils or chicken. Instead of toast alone, he paired it with scrambled eggs or cottage cheese. Within 6 months, his leg strength improved, and he regained the confidence to walk daily without fear. He told me later, "I thought light dinners were keeping me healthy. In reality, they were taking my strength away." So let me ask you, what do you usually eat for dinner? Is it a meal that truly nourishes your muscles, or is it just a plate that makes you feel not too heavy before bed? If it's the latter, you may be unknowingly starving your body of the very fuel it needs to protect you overnight. And if you think empty dinners are the only danger, you haven't yet seen what happens when years of low-protein meals accumulate. Because the story of rebuilding after muscle loss is often much harder and more painful than simply protecting your strength in the first place. Sometimes, the consequences of skipping protein at dinner don't show up overnight. They build silently over years until one day the body simply can't keep up anymore. By then, seniors often face a long uphill battle to rebuild what was lost. I want to share with you the story of one such patient because it shows not only the danger of neglecting protein, but also the hope that comes from making changes even later in life. Mr. Anthony, a 73-year-old retired mechanic, came to me after suffering a frightening fall in his own driveway. He had been carrying groceries when his legs suddenly gave out and he crashed onto the pavement. Luckily, he didn't break any bones, but the bruising and shock left him shaken. When I evaluated him, the scans showed a concerning degree of sarcopenia. His muscles had wasted far beyond what was normal for his age. His legs, once strong from decades of hard work, had thinned, and his grip strength had weakened dramatically. When I asked him about his eating habits, the answer was familiar. Breakfast was hearty eggs and toast. Lunch was reasonable, sometimes a sandwich, sometimes a small piece of fish, but dinner? "Oh, I usually just have tea and crackers," he admitted. "At my age, I don't need much more, right?" He smiled weakly as if he already knew the truth. For years, Anthony had unknowingly deprived his body of the very nutrients it needed most. And now, he was paying the price with frailty, loss of independence, and fear. Here's the medical fact. Rebuilding muscle after severe loss is possible, but it's far harder than maintaining it in the first place. Studies show that once muscle mass declines past a certain threshold, seniors require higher protein intake and resistance exercise to regain even a fraction of their lost strength. And recovery is often slow because aging muscles respond less efficiently to the same signals that once made them grow. This is why prevention, ensuring steady protein intake, especially at dinner, is so vital. For Anthony, we began a program that combined dietary changes with light-strength exercises. At dinner, we replaced his crackers with a balanced meal that included 25-30 grams of protein-grilled chicken lentils or cottage cheese. To support overnight recovery, we sometimes added a small serving of casein-rich yogurt before bed. Within weeks, his energy began to return. Over 3 months, his muscle scans showed improvement, and his balance tests were stronger. The first time he managed to carry groceries up his driveway without stumbling, he broke into tears. "I didn't think I'd get this strength back," he told me. But here's the hidden fact: most seniors don't realize muscle rebuilding isn't just about strength. It's about regaining independence. Anthony's story wasn't about lifting weights or chasing athletic goals. It was about being able to walk safely
climb stairs without fear, and live at home without constant dependence on others. Protein at dinner became the foundation of that independence. I share Anthony's journey because it carries a lesson for all of us. If you've been skipping protein at dinner for years, it may feel too late to change. But it isn't. Even in his 70s, Anthony's body responded when given the right fuel. The road was harder, yes, but not impossible. And that's the message I want you to take to heart. Your muscles are resilient. They can heal, they can strengthen, and they can support you if you give them the tools they need. So tonight, when you think about what's on your dinner plate, remember Anthony. Remember that every skipped serving of protein chips away at your independence. But every mindful choice to include it helps you rebuild and hold on to the life you cherish. And if rebuilding seems difficult, the truth is that it doesn't always require complicated plans. Sometimes, the simplest dinner swaps, changing crackers for eggs or fruit for yogurt, can be enough to shift the balance from loss to strength. That's exactly what we'll explore next, how small, practical dinner changes can restore muscle and vitality. When it comes to protecting your muscles after 60, the good news is this. You don't need expensive supplements, complicated recipes, or gourmet diets. Often the difference between steady decline and lasting strength comes down to simple dinner swaps, replacing the empty foods that starve your body with protein-rich choices that fuel recovery through the night. Let me start with a simple truth. Protein doesn't need to be heavy. Many seniors shy away from eating meat or eggs at dinner because they fear indigestion or bloating. But there are plenty of gentle, senior-friendly protein sources that digest smoothly while still delivering the amino acids your muscles need. Swapping out one item on your plate can make all the difference. For example, instead of having just plain soup, add lentils, beans, or shredded chicken. Rather than eating bread with jam, switch to bread with scrambled eggs or cottage cheese. Instead of fruit, alone pair it with Greek yogurt or a small handful of nuts. These small swaps transform your dinner from a carbohydrate trap into a muscle-protecting meal. I recall a patient named Maria, 71, a retired school principal. She lived alone and admitted she often didn't feel like cooking much in the evening. Her usual dinner was tea toast and sometimes a banana. Over time, she noticed her legs tiring easily when climbing stairs, and she grew nervous about carrying her laundry down to the basement. When we discussed her diet, she was shocked to hear that her light dinners were weakening her muscles. She thought she was eating smart and avoiding heavy food. We worked together to create a list of simple swaps she could handle on her own. Toast with scrambled eggs instead of jam. Yogurt with chia seeds instead of tea alone. A small piece of salmon instead of just crackers. Within 4 months, Maria reported a remarkable difference. She no longer dreaded the stairs and her balance improved. She even started walking to the park again, something she had given up out of fatigue. The swaps didn't complicate her life, they simplified it, because each meal now served a purpose. Here's the science that explains why these swaps work. Seniors require about 25–30 grams of protein per meal to maximally stimulate muscle repair. That's roughly the protein in 3 eggs, a cup of Greek yogurt, or a modest serving of fish. Without this threshold, the body doesn't trigger the repair process efficiently. This is why small snacks like crackers or fruit at dinner do almost nothing for muscle preservation. But a simple protein-based swap can push your intake into the effective range, giving your body exactly what it needs to fight sarcopenia. Another overlooked benefit is digestion. Seniors often worry that protein at night will be too heavy. But slow-digesting proteins like casein are actually gentler than carb-heavy meals. Carbs spike blood sugar and often lead to reflux or disrupted sleep. Protein stabilizes digestion, keeps you fuller longer, and supports steady overnight repair. Many patients report sleeping better when they add a small protein portion to their dinners. Maria's favorite new ritual became a small bowl of Greek yogurt with sliced strawberries before bed. She told me, "It feels like dessert, but I wake up feeling stronger." That single swap not only gave her body the amino acids it needed, but also turned her dinner into something enjoyable, not a chore. So let me ask you, what's on your plate tonight? Is it cracker soup or fruit? Or is it something that will actively defend your muscles while you sleep? You don't need to overhaul your diet overnight. Just choose one simple swap and stick with it. Over weeks and months, these choices accumulate into real protection. Stronger legs, steadier balance, and a body that supports the life you want to live. And if these swaps seem simple, they are. But the benefits don't stop at strength. The right protein at dinner doesn't just protect your muscles, it also improves sleep quality and hormonal balance. And that's the next hidden connection we need to uncover. By now, you've seen how protein at dinner protects your muscles from breakdown balances, blood sugar, and restores strength. But there's another powerful benefit that many seniors overlook. Protein timing can directly improve sleep quality and hormone balance, both of which are critical for preserving muscle after 60. When you sleep, your body enters its most active repair phase. Growth hormone levels rise, tissues regenerate, and your brain clears away toxins. But here's the catch: without enough protein in your system, this nighttime recovery process falls flat. Instead of building new muscle, your body scavenges existing muscle tissue to keep vital organs running. The result: you wake up feeling weaker, stiffer, and more fatigued. Protein before bed changes this equation. By providing a steady supply of amino acids, especially slow-digesting case, and you give your body the building blocks it needs to match the growth hormone surge. This harmony between protein supply and hormonal repair creates a powerful overnight environment for muscle preservation. It's like handing your body the exact tools it needs right when the construction crew shows up. I remember a patient named Evelyn, 70, who came to me complaining of poor sleep. She would wake up multiple times at night and always felt exhausted in the morning. She also noticed her muscles becoming softer, and her once easy morning walks left her winded. Her dinners usually consisted of vegetable soup or tea with no meaningful protein. When I suggested adding a small protein snack, like Greek yogurt or cottage cheese before bed, she was skeptical. "Won't that make me gain weight?" she asked. 3 weeks later, she returned with a smile. Not only was she sleeping more soundly, but she also felt stronger during her walks. Her morning fatigue had lessened, and she noticed less stiffness in her legs. What she experienced was the power of aligning protein intake with her body's natural repair cycles. Here's the medical fact: research shows that consuming 20-30 grams of protein before sleep enhances overnight muscle protein synthesis in older adults. In one study, seniors who consumed casein at night built more muscle and strength compared to those who didn't, even when both groups exercised. This highlights the unique synergy between protein timing and sleep physiology. But it doesn't end with muscles. Protein at night also stabilizes blood sugar, which prevents the restless sleep many seniors experience after carb-heavy dinners. High blood sugar spikes, followed by crashes, often cause midnight awakenings and grogginess in the morning. Protein slows this roller coaster, promoting deeper, uninterrupted sleep. And deeper sleep means more effective healing, both for your muscles and your brain. Another overlooked factor is the role of amino acids in producing neurotransmitters. For example, tryptophan, an amino acid found in dairy, turkey, and nuts, helps your body produce serotonin and melatonin hormones that regulate sleep. Without adequate protein intake, your body may struggle to generate these calming signals, leading to restlessness. This is why many seniors find that a protein-based evening snack not only strengthens their muscles but also soothes them into better sleep. Evelyn put it best when she said, "I thought I needed sleeping pills. All I really needed was protein." Her story reminds us that sometimes the simplest solutions are the most powerful. By syncing your nutrition with your body's natural rhythms, you can unlock energy and strength that you thought were gone forever. So tonight, when you consider your dinner, ask yourself, will this meal work with my body's repair system, or against it? Will I wake up stronger, or will I wake up weaker? The answer lies in whether you give your body the protein it needs to thrive during the night. And as important as timing is, there's one more piece of this puzzle. We cannot ignore how to bring all of this knowledge together into a lifestyle you can actually maintain. Because knowing the risks is one thing, but acting on them daily, that's what truly protects your independence. We've traveled a long road together in this discussion, through the dangers of skipping protein at dinner, the science of muscle breakdown at night, the importance of slow digesting proteins, and even the hidden risks of light dinners. But as we come to a close, I want to leave you with a message that is both sobering and empowering. Your body changes with age, but your choices still carry enormous power. The central truth is this: after 60, your muscles no longer respond the way they used to. They require more protein delivered consistently, especially at night. Skip protein at dinner, and your body has no choice but to feed on its own muscle tissue while you sleep. Provide protein at dinner, and you fuel the natural repair process that keeps you strong, steady, and independent. It really is that simple and that urgent. But this isn't about fear alone. It's also about hope. Because even if you've been skipping protein for years, your muscles remain resilient. I've seen patients in their 70s and 80s regain strength, balance, and vitality simply by making small, consistent changes. The human body has an incredible capacity to heal when given the right tools. And those tools in this case are the proteins you place on your dinner plate. So let's talk about safe, senior-friendly alternatives that you can start using right away. Here are 5 protein-rich options that digest gently and support overnight recovery. Greek yogurt or cottage cheese. Both are rich in casein, the slow-digesting protein that provides a steady drip of amino acids through the night. Pair with berries or a sprinkle of flaxseed for added fiber. Eggs. Scrambled, poached, or boiled eggs are versatile and easy to digest. A small portion at dinner offers a perfect balance of protein and healthy fats. Fish, salmon, cod, or sardines provide not only protein but also omega-3 fatty acids that reduce inflammation, making them especially powerful for joint and muscle health. Legumes. Lentils, chickpeas, or beans are excellent plant-based proteins. Pair them with whole grains like brown rice or quinoa for a complete amino acid profile. Lean poultry. A small portion of chicken or turkey provides high-quality protein without being too heavy. Combine with vegetables for a balanced dinner. And here's a simple rule of thumb: aim for 25-30 grams of protein at dinner. That's enough to trigger the muscle repair process effectively. Remember, it's not about eating huge portions. It's about being consistent and intentional with your choices. To make it practical, here are a few easy dinner ideas. A bowl of lentil soup topped with shredded chicken. Grilled salmon with steamed vegetables and quinoa. Greek yogurt parfait with chia seeds and sliced fruit. 2 boiled eggs with sautéed spinach and whole grain toast. These aren't complicated recipes. They're simple swaps that protect your independence. Now let me leave you with clear, actionable rules for safe evening nutrition. Never skip protein at dinner. Your body can't store it for later. Pair protein with healthy fats or fiber. This slows digestion and keeps blood sugar steady. Avoid carb-only dinners. Bread, rice, or fruit alone leave your muscles unprotected. Use slow-digesting proteins at night. Casein-rich foods like yogurt or cottage cheese are especially effective. Listen to your body. If you feel weaker, more tired, or less steady, examine what you're eating at night. It may hold the answer. I want you to picture this: waking up tomorrow morning not weaker than today, but stronger. Rising from your chair with ease, climbing stairs without hesitation, carrying groceries without fear. These are not luxuries, they are the rewards of making dinner a true ally in your health. As we close, I want to thank you for spending this time with me. My role as a doctor is not just to warn you of the dangers, but to empower you with the knowledge to protect yourself. Remember, it's never too late to change. Even small adjustments today can create profound improvements in your health tomorrow. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment with 1. If not, feel free to comment with 0. Your feedback means a lot to us. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss another health tip made just for you. Stay strong, stay steady, and above all, stay hopeful because your best years can still be ahead of you. One protein-rich dinner at a time.